Hey everybody, clearing. Okay, so I am going to do a conversation between the masculines and the feminines, and we're going to look at where each are at karmically, intimately, and with healing. So let's start with the masculines, and we'll go into a Q&A with the feminines and the masculines to see the energies that come up. So karmically speaking, what can we see? Divine masculines for karmic processing. Six of Wands, Lord of Victory. Okay. Ruler of flux and reflux. The moon is at the bottom of the deck there, or staring at me. So this came out in the neutral. The masculines are at the edge of the karmic victory. They are in neutrality about the triggers of the karmic situations or paradigms or relationships or that sort of thing. So this is where we are between worlds with what the ego would term a victory and what the spiritual or the energetic understanding would deem a victory. So the masculines are kind of humbled and masterful all at once. This is where victory is a noble thing, a true win-win for all involved. So what would the masculines say to the feminines about their karma, their process right now? What would the masculines say? Secretly, they are keeping an eye on you, feminines, so they are consumed by their karmic things right now, but they are keeping tabs, but also energetically you are influencing their victory here. You are helping to show them what true victory looks like. I heard team spirit, but not a sore loser. Like, it's not if you win or lose, it's how you play the game. That's what they've learned from you, divine feminine, or part of that accountability, that your purity, the connection, the purity of the connection reminds the twins, because it's in the name of unconditional love. It really is not if you win or lose, but how you play the game. What would the feminines say to the masculines about this nod in their direction? The Hermit in the reverse. So the feminines are also taking cues from you, divine masculines, about their destined path, about their, alignment. They're in hermit mode in their lives, but not where you're energetically concerned, I just heard. So yeah, divine masculines are in store for victory with their lifelong struggles and imbalances. They are balancing those out, and it's being recognized. This teamwork is being recognized by both counterparts. Okay, let's see where the feminines are at with their karma. What do the feminines want to share with the masculines at this time? Ooh, 10 of Wands, Lord of Oppression. So we got Lord of Victory and Lord of Oppression. So the feminines are coming out of oppression with their karma. They are removing themselves from feeling oppressed, being oppressed. When we have an energy within us, it is reflected in our outer world. It's a chicken and an egg, sure, but there is a collective motion for the feminines releasing from oppression, oppressing and being oppressed. What would the feminines say to the masculines about this karmic clearing? So the 10 of Wands literally reduces to the Ace of Wands, which is the purpose-led path. It's the torch that is now in leadership and teaching. So the feminines are about to have this 10 culminate in being able to show others how to overcome oppression, how to come up out of struggle, how to up level out of lower vibrational circumstances, how to empower. So the feminines are mastering this. What can we see for what they would say to the masculines? Six of Pentacles and Prince of Cups. So the feminines would like to say to you, divine masculines, they will be free and clear to pursue and to give to you and this connection with their whole heart. Once they come out of the oppression, their energy won't be consumed or compromised by their karmic situation, and they are staying balanced, knowing that they are wholeheartedly invested in these connections. And if they haven't been able to show up fully, that it is because they have had their energy pulled in a different direction. Oh, I'm hearing, thank you for having patience and believing in me and knowing that I wasn't stringing you along. So the feminines are acknowledging that they have not been clear, free and clear to pursue, and that they appreciate your patience, divine masculines, while they finalize the last few things they need to. What would the masculines say to the feminines about this? Aw, thank you for extending the same kindness to me. So the masculines are recognizing that they need more self-love. They need to feel like they're not taking it personally. They've been learning, feminines, just like you have not been able to come forward, and you're hoping that your divine counterpart or counterpart here will forgive you for that. The masculines have also needed to overcome any kind of taking it personally and self-love. And so they are saying, you know, they see how they're becoming stronger, more grounded, more centered, more patient as a result of this, because everybody, let's face it, we can feel that the love is here, even though it's a little bit much sometimes to keep our bearings. We're learning. As we ascend, we are learning. Okay, so what can we see for the masculines as far as the intimate connection? What would the divine masculines like to share with the feminines regarding the intimate connection? The moon. So we are getting censor. The moon. Let's read it. The upright. There is no obvious path here. The instincts of the animal, the rhythms of the flesh are pulled along their way by unseen forces. So the masculines are understanding that this connection and the intimate involvement seems to have a life of its own, and there's something going on with the way that it ebbs and flows, and when it feels like it can meet up or not. So they're understanding there are unseen forces. As the sun sees you at your brightest, so the moon sees you at your darkest. It is the unpredictable energy that moves us along at night and knows that we long and knows what we long for. The subconscious mind spills forth. Hidden desires expose themselves. Okay, so masculines are seeing in this unknown period, this atypical period between the twins, that there is deep subconscious revelation exposing specifically hidden desires. So the masculines are having a lot of hidden desire for the feminine emerging right now at this time. The eclipses might have had something to do with that, but let's see, what would the masculines like to say to the feminines about these hidden desires emerging regarding you, divine feminine, at this time? A little bit came out. Oh, a new beginning with the Queen of Wands, the divine feminine, and how they want to look at it. So the masculines do understand they want a new beginning. They don't know if they want to have the full-blown sexual experience, the physical experience yet, but they are mastering their free will to know that they could start small. They could start without knowing where this is going. They could keep their wits about them. They could go forward into uncharted territory and see how it grows, how the love grows when there are no agendas. This is like dropping the agenda. The masculines know that these secret hidden desires that are coming to light, they are more the universe's agenda. Like there are unseen forces bringing the two together. And so the masculines, instead of focusing on whether or not they can compose themselves physically or sexually around you, it's more so that they're curious to see the wisdom of the universe. Why has the universe mashed the two of you up? They're kind of, they've got some staying power and more curiosity now growing, rather than the animal instincts kicking in. They're realizing that they should look at this a little bit differently, at least to begin with, to help ground this and normalize the connection rather than make it so weird. What would the feminines have to say about this from the masculines? The Chariot, let's do it. Let go of control, masculines. The Emperor in the reverse. It's like, get in the chariot and ride, masculines. Like, come towards me. Let's just figure it out. Let's hang. Let's chill. Let's hang. Let's just do this. Drop agendas, drop control. Capiche, capiche. What is the intimate edge that the feminines are navigating with the connections? Eight of Roses in the inverse. I think that's the Eight of Pentacles, so doing the inner work. I love it when I open to the page. Okay, routines are harder to break if we enjoy them. So divine feminines are realizing that part of the comfort zone that they've been in with these connections, and not allowing from the feminine side of it for things to progress. I'm getting a flavor of that having not been free and clear to pursue fully. It's kind of like the feminines may have wanted more from the masculines, may have wanted to be further ahead, but because of their own karma cleanup, were they really able to be? So the feminines are realizing that the connections worked for them in some way when they could have and be okay with breadcrumbs, but now that their lives are giving way to more, it's like they are ready for a little bit more. And so the feminines are shifting gears out of being okay with breadcrumbs to knowing and seeing themselves as ready for enjoying a different level of connectivity. There's a growth curve here. The breadcrumbs are no longer satiating. Literally. So divine feminines, sometimes we hear like, don't be okay with being breadcrumbed, but there are reasons, legitimate, rational reasons why feminines fall into accepting breadcrumbs. Sometimes that is all that works for the feminine at that time too. So let's get real about that, everybody. This, though, is saying that more is in order. It's time. May I have some more? So let's see. Feminines are hungry. What are we saying? Prince of Wands. Yes, they want more than breadcrumbs. This is my freaking breadcrumb card. This is the player energy. In the reverse, it's like a move to deepen, a desire to have more. Let go of the past, the way things are, and open up to the best is yet to come, instead of glorifying mediocrity. Mediocrity? Sometimes words sound weird. I say so many words every day. Once in a while, it sounds so strange. Anyways, we're letting go of the past and wanting more. Feminines want more. Divine masculines, your feminine is ready for more. They want to get back up on that horse and ride. It may have felt like they were bucked off in these connections, but they want to get back up on the horse and ride better than ever. That's what I just heard. Cheeky feminines, what do the masculines have to say about this? The feminines wanting more. Oh, I just heard the masculines say, I knew you would. We've been pointing in a similar general direction all along, don't you know? So the masculines are trying to say, yeah, excuse me, but I think it takes two to be in this dynamic, and look at the angle of approach here. We've both been kind of sort of meh. If you haven't seen it, then you haven't seen it. Of course I want more too. We're mirrored. So the masculines acknowledge that they feel this magnetic gravitational pull. They've felt it all along. And they're saying, all jokes aside, that of course you felt that too. This is a real connection. So yeah, there's only, you know, growth to have here. Okay, let's see for the healing now. What is it, Divine Creator, that we can bring in for the masculines? Where are the masculines at with healing? The Moon Queen. I think this is the Empress in this deck though. So this is the secrets coming to light. I'm actually going to read the guidebook on this because it's a bit of a different interpretation. Oh, it's not the Empress, it's the Moon Queen. Okay. Have you ever felt an instinct? When? What did it feel like for you? So the masculines are reclaiming their instincts. When you see the Moon Queen card, it means to trust your instincts. Do you ever get a funny feeling deep inside and just know something is true? Like you just know your friend is sad today even though she hasn't said anything about it yet? Or you just know your dad is tired even though he's pretending he's not? When you're in a feeling like that, it's called an instinct. It's a feeling that gives you information. When you have an instinct, listen closely. It will tell you the truth. So I do catch from this that the masculines have felt when you're sad, Divine Feminines, and they've noticed that that is not just an assessment that is limited to you. They're feeling it with others, their family members, and so they're tuning into this and validating it a little bit more. So their healing is learning to trust themselves and their rate of energy and to actually act on those things from the knowing. I think it's hilarious that we just got that because the masculines were just asserting that they've kind of known this, they've sensed it all along. So we're getting a little bit of a confirmation there. So what would the masculines say to the feminines about this healing? Yeah. They want to offer, they want to start approaching and speaking, communicating based on this with you. This flew over to your side, Divine Feminines. So the masculines do want to acknowledge something. And if they haven't already, they will be saying, hey, are you okay? Like they're going to start following their instincts and they're going to start acting on that when it's warranted, when they feel the nudge. And so you will likely start to see that, feminines, or have already seen them tuning into you and acknowledging it by communicating this, expressing from that place. What can the feminines say in response to the masculines tuning in and being generous of spirit? I'll see it when I believe it. I just heard the world. It's like neutral about this. Okay, let's see the old cycles close out and the new ones come in. Let's see your sensitivity. Bring it on, is what I just heard. But they're not going to formulate getting their hopes up for this, but they're also not going to diminish that it's possible. So the feminines are striding with it and open to it, but not convinced yet, masculines. Okay, what can we see for the feminines healing? Seven of Coins. Patience. What else? I'm going to read this. Came in the upright. So what are you trying to grow? So feminines, what are you trying to grow? It's funny because for many, we're coming out of karmic situations and there's a period of regrouping to understand what we're trying to grow next. But this says, growth takes time. These twin flame unions are some of the most audacious manifestations we can have. And so sometimes periods of time align with the value, the grandeur of the thing. Good things are worth waiting for. If you've ever planted a seed, you know that it doesn't immediately sprout leaves. It's the same with your body. It takes time to grow. If you're waiting for a reward or results, you must be patient. Trust that growth is happening, even if you cannot see it. The progress may be slow, but it's there. Soon enough, you'll see the results of your hard work. So, Divine Feminines, whatever you're trying to grow, look for the indicators that that thing is sending down roots, sending up leaves, blossoming, fruiting. Look for those indicators that you planted a broccoli. Oh, look, there's a broccoli. Like, let it sink in that you've been investing, and your reality must return that to you in kind. So open your eyes and start to see that coming back in for you. What would the feminines say to the masculines about this? They want to be free. The feminines want to be in free-spirited energy. They don't want drama. They don't want to have to, talk about elephants in the room. They just want to have the facts be the facts. And the Empress and the Three of Wands. Isn't that funny? We had the Emperor coming towards the Empress, and now we get the Empress waiting and seeing. So yeah, the Empress is watching to see the fruits blossom here, or grow, the flowers blossom. But yes, Divine Masculines, your feminines are watching to see the return on their investment here. They do still care. They do still want to see you stepping up. So let that be encouragement. Do act on your instincts. Do bring it on. Come forward bravely. They do want to receive you. They do want to see success here. They don't want you to fail. They don't want failure here. They want this. What would the masculines say about that? They're still finding their truth, feminines. Not everything has come to light yet. The sun is still illuminating. So right now we got the moon a lot, and the sun is just rising. So the moon, the subconscious stuff is coming to light, and then it's going to come to light, if you know what I mean. It will come to light fully. And that's what we've always wanted. We've wanted the full expression of love. And so this is how that seed comes up through the pavement and bursts forward into broad daylight. It has to happen under the surface for sometimes a really long time. And then it happens. All right, so let's get into a little bit of a Divine Masculine reading. What are the DMs up to? What are they thinking and feeling in the connections right now? Conscious mind, heart space. What are they wishing for on their own and with the connections? What actions are being taken? What's the biggest challenge? What's the spirit-guided solution for that challenge, and where is the energy going in the near future? And what are the energetic tells that correlate? That was funny. Correlate with the things we'll see. So conscious mind for the connections. Teamwork, Nine of Pentacles, sovereignty, autonomy has been reached, and now two equals, two comrades, two best friends. Two best friends. Yes, doing them simultaneously together. Standing the test of time, showing that it's not about judgment and ridicule, but about understanding and wisdom, compassion, humility. So there's this energy. The masculines are realizing there's nothing to fear here. Everybody's holding their own, and so happiness is secured. Everybody's finding their own way. And so the masculines know that we could really move mountains this way. What can we see? Temple of the Moon goddess again. So emotional transparency, nurturance, and grace. I just heard it's safe for the masculines to open the floodgates of their deepest, darkest wishes and desires, because you've proven your fidelity, Divine Feminines. So there's, whether you're in contact, communication or not, energetically, the bond between counterparts is palpable. So the masculines know that as these hidden desires are coming up, that is their green light, that they want this, that they that it is warranted here, that it's coming forward. And divine feminines, that sort of wholehearted vote of confidence in these connections is what is required for you to receive love on that level. So yeah, really, really beautiful. Masculines, feminines. What can we see for the conscious mind about the counterpart? Integration, 10 of Pentacles. So it's sinking in for the masculines right now that you are a long-term viable option like never before. They've known this connection, this truth. They have tried other third parties or entertained all the deal breaker, naysaying obstacles. They've looked at it from the left, from the right, from the top, from the bottom. They've looked at it from every single angle. It's unconventional AF, I just heard, but again, it's just so crazy it just might work. Like something about your connection is driving them crazy in a good way right now. And they're looking out possibly over bodies of water, the ocean, looking at the emotion that's coming up at very least. That's a metaphor. And it's kind of, they're not fighting it. He's not getting up and walking out of the water. There's this acceptance of the emotion enveloping them that is kind of floating this truth right now, that it doesn't need to be cookie cutter for it to be real. And this connection is anything but cookie cutter. So the masculines are letting this sink in on a level they never have accepted before. They're back to the drawing board about what the long term needs to look like for their life. Your connection has made them question everything because they know that the love is here. And that is the most powerful thing, because it doesn't come in the container they thought it was going to come in, and yet they cannot deny you are more perfect than they ever could have imagined someone being for them. And even the things that they thought were obstacles are actually not obstacles. And I know I keep getting that message in different ways, but you have to believe that, divine feminines, that whatever it is about your connection that's been unusual or not typical has been part of the thing that your divine counterpart secretly has really always valued to a large extent. What do we need to know energetically? Duality, contrast, trust, and balance. Exactly. All of those things that used to be a deal breaker are now the greatest triumphs in this connection. The unconditional love has seen why that very thing is the treasure, is one of the treasures. You are the treasure, divine feminine. Divine masculine, you are the treasure. However, these opportunities to love, regardless of how these connections go against the grain, the status quo in some way, that duality, the contrast. There's a trust and a belief that's come in because of the obstacles in these connections. It has allowed for freedom of choice to really side with the heart rather than the mind, is what I just heard. And there is no peace greater than the heart's vote. Our mind will not rest if our heart is contrary to what our mind tells us. And so in that sense, as soon as our heart knows something, it has begun. Trust that, people. When your heart knows something, your mind doesn't stand a chance. When your heart knows, the heart wants what it wants, and the mind doesn't stand a chance. What are the masculine's heart space awarenesses? Victory and justice. Okay, so whatever this contrary energy was, the masculines have had their heart bring ultimate victory and justice. Like their heart has schooled their mind in these connections and been like, sucka, what about this, sucka? So yes, divine masculines. In it to win it. Yeah. I just heard the masculine say, you didn't think a little deal breaker like that would hold me back. I was just waiting for you, divine feminine, to want this as much as I do. What? Divine masculines. So sweet. And no kidding. Are you kidding? So, I mean, that's not the whole story, divine masculines, but we get crystal capacitor, storage, time release, and focus force. So this has been a time capsule set for these now moments where it can ramp up on a new level, where there can be empowerment here, where it can be integrated, where things can move. It is part of this cosmic clock and the way that things are time released. And that's part of the benevolence of these becomings, because if it's all at once, we don't appreciate it the same way. We just don't. We are creatures of time. We are incarnated in this. I've said before, bear with me, this is a big concept, but that time is a personality trait of the divine. Space and time are aspects of the divine. We need time for relationship. We need relationship to have unconditional love. The biggest thing with unconditional love is having choice, and we need space and time to have choice. And so all of it, the masculines are seeing how this is justified. I know I just went way out there. Some of you will really dig that message. But there's a time capsule here. Things are moving the way they need to. What are the heart space for you, divine feminine? Reciprocity, Page of Cups, sweetness. Yes, the divine masculines are ready to receive you. They want a little bit more now. They want to offer you sweetly and see if you are at liberty to freely give something at this point. They know that you have every right to be cautious, guarded, hesitant, considerate before you embrace, but they are open-heartedly saying, how about now? There is some kind of a openness coming to receive your love, divine feminines. Intention, mental breakthroughs, and ideas. Okay, another kind of advanced concept. When somebody can conceive of something, they are in the vicinity of that thing authentically. If it spontaneously comes to someone as an original thought, or they get to it, they arrive at it on their own, trust that. Because that is a testament of them pre-qualifying themselves to be an authority in that regard. Because they've come to it naturally, it is genuine, it is authentic. So I'm getting that here, that if the masculines are suddenly coming forward and saying certain things, these are some of the blossoming, some of the fruits that you've been on the lookout for, divine feminines. And so let that be an indicator to you that some of this progress is actually happening in real time. What can we see for the manifestations the masculines want to see in this connection? Oh, hubba hubba. So we get this empowered sexuality coming through, like the masculines are wanting to see what the sexual, sensual connection is going to be like. So I know we got some more platonic, like foundation of friendship first, but there is kind of eventually they want to explore the sensual connection. Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. I'm not gonna lie, they don't want to wait until you are in holy matrimony. They don't want to wait till you're living together. They do kind of want to see where the physical connection, the chemistry is at right now, without kind of it's like they're reading the energy based on that in a way that they weren't able to before. So if you have had previous encounters where you have been magnetized sexually together, it feels like they still want to go with the flow with that, but they're not naive anymore, and they want to just have an accurate read of what the sexual connection can tell them. rather than have a strategy or a preconceived notion, they're going into it more energetically astute, and they want to feel what the connection will show them in a way that they weren't aware enough to discern before. Light body activator, luminosity, empowerment, and forward motion. So it's like a confidence boost. They now know that sexual chemistry doesn't lie, and they now want to play with that. They want to confirm that in order to empower both to go forward. So that doesn't mean you have to have full-on sexual intercourse, let's just say, but you can talk about these things. You can meet on that level. You can investigate it. There are lots of sensual intimacies that can come in that if you don't feel, I'm not saying you should allow sexual connection if you don't feel comfortable with that, divine feminines. Just because it comes through here does not mean it has to be literal. It's the energetic exploration, and there is forward motion here. So for some it will be having a sexual encounter. For some it will be touching base on where both stand theoretically or emotionally. So there's going to be some advancing to test the chemistry is what I'm getting. So sometimes I get a little bit ahead of what the connections are. Remember, free will, everyone. Nobody, not me, not anybody can tell you what to do with your connection. Please navigate these things first person with your connection to source. What are the masculine's actions at this time? Higher guidance and Page of Wands. They are channeling their guidance. They are setting intentions, meditating, asking for higher guidance, and then acting on that information, those instincts, but they're learning to use this consciously. So it's not just instincts. They're now seeing that they can evoke more of this more consistently with better results and growing in that confidence. What do the feminines need to know? Foundation, cosmology, form and structure. So the masculines, look at this color, all the same amber, the root, sacral, and solar plexus chakra here, all represented, the earth chakras. So the masculines are bringing their energetic savvy into their physical actions. It's like a backing, energetic backing, a new foundation, an energetic foundation to navigate these connections with. Oh, good stuff. What's the biggest challenge at this time? Oh, the Hermit, and just sitting there watching, waiting, protecting, not taking action, watching for tact, timing, seeing things playing out. That's the biggest challenge. What do we need to know? Self-sustaining systems, fluidity, and abundance. So that chemistry, dipping the toes in the water, not running. It's like the masculines aren't running. They're now letting the emotions instruct them and inform their desires. It's like, oh wow, I guess I'm thinking that about this person now. It must be like, okay, I'm genuinely feeling pulled to explore this a little bit. On the flip side, feminines, they are also watching to see if you're able to hold your own without making them your happiness, without glomming onto them, or without, getting enmeshed codependently. There is a fluidity. That means the joy isn't dampened. That means when we come together, it's not a painful thing. The fears, the triggering is subsiding, and now it's, there's not so much healing or angst or karma stuff to clear, that there's actual free and clear to pursue kind of fluidity available. So we come back and forth in magnetic ways over time in these connections, and it seems to be smoothing out in the energy a bit. But the challenge is waiting, watching, balancing, becoming whole still. What is the solution? Wow, we got the High Priest. The High Priestess here. So we had the High Priest, the Hermit, the Moon, the Sun. We've got these cosmic energies, spiritual, energetic things, and the Indigo, the Magician. So the solution is to keep being informed, bringing in the higher dimensional instructions, the innovations. This is like non-action with the connection. Everybody is still being asked to stay the course with a little bit more of this innovation coming in. And so not taking action in the connection just yet. There's still a period of downloading transmissions that everyone's receiving. Progressive awareness, multi-directional change, seal of evolutionary colors. So we show up differently when we know differently, when we've transitioned from one karmic way of living to this higher dimensional perception. We're in this transition right now where we're starting to see how that up-leveling, that shift, the progressive awareness regarding connections is informing us behind the scenes and allowing us to work with the energies that be rather than against them or try to force them in any way. There's this beautiful surrender coming in, that it has to sit well with our soul fully, that if we have anxiety or that we have cumbersome energy, or it doesn't feel right, or it just doesn't feel aligned or streamlined, that we can just surrender even more fully and trust that it's coming, that there are changes, that there's still instructions for our own accountability to be acted on, rather than needing to make the relationship the priority. It will fall into place when things are in divine timing. Let's see, one more card of advice for everybody watching. Oh, a 50 million. Okay, we get Gate of Returning. So yes, there is a return coming in. Rebirth, passage, entrance, and death. And discernment, discipline, and order, plus emotional equilibrium, compassionate non-attachment. So everybody on this journey has been navigating, balancing out, but it's bringing in another go round. And I heard possible permanent union. Okay, many blessings, everyone. Bye for now.